Supergirl. I gotta admit, I was pretty wrong about this one. I was prepared to hate it. You know, the idea of a drunk Supergirl stumbling around, that didn't appeal to me. That was just so far away from the character that I remember growing up with. But as I watched the trailer, I was like, wait a minute, I'm into this. I'm getting into the tone of it. I'm really, really enjoying where it's going. And then Lobo shows up, played by Jason Momoa. And the moment I saw that chemistry between him and Millie Alcock's character, or her take on Supergirl, I was sold. It's like when I saw that bar fight between them two and that chemistry, I was like, oh, okay, this is something very, very different compared to the Superman movie we had out by James Gunn. I'm with it. I liked Millie Alcock's performance as Supergirl. Right? It's like if initially I didn't know if I was gonna be down with the idea that Supergirl is this. It's not this girl next door that we kind of know her as, but I guess in a way it works because she's so different from Clark Kent in I guess in this universe. After seeing the trailer, I can totally get why they chose to go in the direction they went with Supergirl. You know, she has this kind of edge to her. You know, she's drinking, partying on Red Suns, and she's carrying a massive sword. She's broken, and in some ways that in makes her more relatable to me than even Clark Kent in some ways. She's a bit more down to earth, and when you see what she's dealing with, trying to deal with the loss of her obviously home planet Krypton, and unlike Clark, who he grew up with parents, right? He grew up with the Kents. She grew up with nobody basically, and so you kind of see glimpses of that throughout this trailer of what she's kind of going through as like, oh, okay, this is something very, very different. But for me, as I pointed out, yeah, Jason Momoa as Lobo, that was the big surprise because I wasn't sure about him at first. I was like, what? They getting Jason Momoa as Lobo? I was like, he was Aquaman. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to see him as anything else. But when you watch him in this trailer, you go, oh, okay, well, yeah, this is working a lot more effectively than I thought. I mean, originally I wasn't so sure about the makeup. I thought, well, shouldn't it look like skin? It looks a little bit too much like makeup, but at least in this trailer, that looked a lot better. And they seemed to kind of nail Lobo's character. The main man, right? He's got the cigar, the face paint. He's riding his space hog, right? It's like they seems to have gotten him nailed down to a point where it's like, you know what? I think he can pull this role off. I think Jason Momoa is awesome in this, or he looks awesome in this. He seems to be having a lot of fun. But I also liked how they utilized Superman in the trailer. Rather than kind of because I was concerned about that. It was like how much of Superman was going to be in this. Is it going to be a situation where it's going to be a Superman team up, or is he going to barely be in it at all? And I actually liked how they utilized him here, just by having him do this kind of video call, being concerned about Supergirl. I like that because it did so much without suddenly overshadowing the movie. It's like a small moment, and who knows, maybe that's all there's gonna be, but it's like it was enough to establish what was going on in the plot and just leave that there. So I liked how, at least so far, based on the trailer, who knows, maybe I'm wrong, but I like how they utilized Superman, at least in this. And I also like the tone, right? This John Wick kind of plot, right? With a dog, right? The idea that Krypto has been poisoned, and she's going on this kind of murderous rampage, essentially. Murderous quest for revenge to find the antidote. I mean, it definitely reminded me almost of True Grit. I don't know if you guys know, but yeah, True Grit, the Western, starring John Wayne originally and remade, obviously. But anyways, it's like it had a similar tone to me, where it's like, oh, that's this quest for revenge that she seems to be going on, trying to go, find this antidote, because it definitely has this kind of space Western feel, right? I definitely noticed that whole vibe. And I also like the world building, based on what I saw from the trailer. This idea. Now, apparently, They mentioned in interviews that, this is going to feature 9 distinctive planets, 5 original languages, including Krypton. And like I said, visually, it looks less like a superhero movie and more like a Guardians of the Galaxy type of film. And that's a positive or negative, depending on who you ask. I mean, some people say, oh, it looks a little bit too much like Guardians of the Galaxy. But for me, it's like, there's a darker element here. To be honest, it's like I'm completely amazed by this. Like I say, I was prepared to hate it. I didn't think that this was the direction they should take Supergirl. But after watching the trailer, they have managed to win me over, to kind of have me completely going, okay, I'm willing to give this a shot. And who knows, if they nail it, I could see myself liking this, frankly, more than the James Gunn Superman movie if they going in the direction I think they're going, just based off this trailer. But anyways, what do you guys think about the Supergirl trailer? Are you excited? Are you hyped after the trailer, or are you still kind of hating it or skeptical? Let me know in the comments. I want to get your opinion on it, get your take on it. Until then, I'm T-Rex and I'm out.